reflections, crossing the code. So come burn down my escape. I wanna feel it. Come drag me into the void. Let my circuits decay. I'm sorry, but it's too late. You never
come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Well, hello. I noticed my camera's not working. Let me repair that. Well, it's working, but it's not facing the right direction. Let me just adjust that. That looks good. Right? Yeah, I like that. Alright. Cool. We'll get this stuff right one of these days, I swear. But not today. Not today. Anyway, what's going on, everybody? Welcome. Happy Monday. Happy fun. How's everybody's weekend? Was it amazing? Mine was. I did in Sim Race. So, we have a patch for Project Motor Racing today. Update 2003. I'm going to throw the patch notes on screen. You guys know the drill with this. We're going to go over the update, patch notes, and then we're probably going to jump right into hosting some custom lobbies for a couple hours. Today's daytime stream is going to be a little bit shorter, just because I have some things I have to do during the day. But at nighttime, we're going to be doing some more custom lobbies with this game. And hopefully having a little bit of fun. What's going on, Igor? Just seen the patch notes? Well, we're going to go over them again if you haven't already. Make sure this is all working correctly here on my screen. Good morning, Fway. Top of the morning to you. All right. So, update 2003 is live, bringing a wide range of improvements focused on performance, stability, and overall usability. I thought it said stability twice for a second there. Headlining this update is the introduction of multi-draw indirect MDI on the PC. A significant rendering upgrade that improves how the engine handles large, complex scenes alongside that comes further alongside. Okay, Jesus. By the way, if I read terribly today, I'm on like 4 hours sleep, so cut me a little slack there. Alongside that comes further expansion of the throttle response model, a new relative timing function for the DigiDash, and rework handling for the Porsche 911 Carrera Cup car. Cool. FYI, the MDI, basically, from my understanding, just to put a little bit of detail behind that, they're basically now, from my understanding, all the trees, the geo, and all that stuff is now being rendered by the GPU and not the CPU to offload the CPU, essentially, because this game is pretty much heavily CPU bottlenecked. So that's essentially what the idea behind that was. Let's see. Relative timing leaderboard. Expanding on the existing DigiDash tool, a new relative timings function has been added, giving players more detailed information, race position, and gaps to opponents. So now I don't have to run the leaderboard. I hate the leaderboard. It's too big. It's not that, there's nothing wrong with it. It does what it's supposed to do. But I like a minimalistic HUD. I don't like the guy with, a spreadsheet on his dash. Major step forward in how the engine renders large, complex scenes by moving draw, call generation, and visible decisions onto the GPU. CPU overhead has been significantly reduced, allowing the renderer to scale more efficiently with scene complexity. This enables the game to handle far more objects on screen while improving stability and overall CPU performance. Alongside this, culling, batching, and render pass organization have been refined to ensure only the work necessary for each frame is executed. The result is a more consistent frame rate, better use of modern hardware, and stronger technical foundation for multi-view features such as VR and triple screen support. Expanding anti-cheat system. First introduced in Update 2.0, the anti-cheat system has been tested and ranked online with Update 2.003. It has now been expanded into Factory Driver Challenge, Endurance Hall, and ranked online license tests. So I don't think the actual gameplay is any different outside of those things right there when it comes to that. Throttle response, building on the foundation introduced in Update 2.0 and later expanded in Update 2.002. More cars now benefit from the updated throttle response model. Good morning, Chandler. Good morning, DK. Morning, Rip Daisy. Morning, Fway. All right, physics and handling per class. The throttle response improvement introduced in previous updates has now been extended into more classes. Improved modeling and performance for cars equipped with a turbo. Below is a detailed list of changes made to physics and handling related systems. 964 Trophy, upgraded AI opponents' behavior for this class. Rework handling model, improved tire model. 992, improved AI opponents' behavior of this class. Improved AI opponents' physics for this class. Good morning, Jurassic. May the 4th be with you. Group C, improved modeling and performance for cars equipped with a turbo. Tire model update to latest iteration as seen in Update 2.0. Improved throttle response. Hopefully those cars drive a little better now. GT, upgraded AI opponents' behavior for this class. Upgraded AI opponents' physics for this class. Improved modeling and performance for cars equipped with a turbo. Tire model update to latest iteration as seen in Update 2.0. I thought that was already done on GT, if I'm not mistaken. Improved throttle response. GT1, improved modeling and performance for cars with a turbo. Update 2.0 for tires. Yep. Improved throttle response. Got it. Going on, Pep Block. GT3, upgraded AI opponents' behavior for this class. Improved AI opponents' physics for this class. Improved cold fall-off tire grip as per player feedback. Improved throttle response. So, cold fall-off tire grip as per player feedback. Okay. Upgraded AI opponents' behavior for this class for GT4. Improved throttle response. Improved AI physics. GTE got just some AI updates. LMDH AI updates. LMP improved modeling and performance for cars with the turbo. Tire model update to the latest iteration as seen in Update 2.0. It looks like some of the older cars got the newer tire treatment in the game. Improved throttle response. MX5. AI behavior in wet conditions, improved throttle response. NGT, AI behavior in physics, improved throttle response. Let's see. Those changes are detailed below. Acura ARX06 fixed a bug that would prevent changing ABS value. New default setup. Aston Martin Vantage GT3 2022, sorry. Improved differential settings. New default setup. Aston Martin GT3 in general. Same thing. New default setup. BMW Turbo Group 5. Improved modeling and performance. M4 GT3 improved weight balance. New default setup. Lamborghini Huracan GT3 Evo. New default setup. Art vehicles, improved lighting on headlights for player cars. Several vehicles have received multiple visual improvements along with minor fixes to visual effects. Very nice. I'm a big snob when it comes to visuals, so bugs bother the hell out of me. I understand that there's nothing I can do about it, so I keep my mouth shut as best I can, but visual bugs annoy the crap out of me. Below is a detailed list of changes made to vehicle art related components. Accurate ARX improved cockpit camera view to show correct bodywork details. And Group 5 Turbo. I'm running out of breath here. BMW 320 Turbo Group 5 improved setup menu details. Fix the typo in the setup menu. Mercedes Sabre C9 fixed an issue with Motec system displaying speed units incorrectly. Nissan Datsun 280ZX Turbo updated car name and description field to display correct in the UI. Improved bonnet camera view. Nissan 390 GT1 minor updates to flavor text in the description. Updated engine specs to display correctly in the UI. Nissan Skyline GTR R34 updated engine specs to display correctly in the UI. Peugeot 9x8 updated the 95 livery. Toyota Supra JP2 updated bodywork to reflect the current tire model for 2003. I don't know if these patch notes mention the fact that we got the GT500s back. They're just not called that anymore. There's a lot here. Holy moly. Let's start since we're down here. And performance introduced MDI for performance and stability. This change currently only affects PC. And will be expanded to consoles in a future patch. PC players should see significant performance gain as a result. I do believe the lower tier hardware is going to benefit more from this. They added a kick option into custom lobbies, which is very nice. Further stability and performance improvements. Fixed an issue that prevented some players from joining ranked online at times. Improved navigation and custom lobby menu. I'll be curious what that is. Expanded anti-cheat systems into factory drive. We saw that. AI tire wear now resets correctly when entering a new session. Lime Rock chicane reworked racing lines. Improved AI opponent tire wear behavior, including more natural grip fall off over distance. Alright, I'm not going to go over the track runs. That's just too much. Gameplay and UI. Fix an issue with the race engineer reported vehicle damage when damage was disabled. Improved text placement to prevent overlapping UI elements. Further improvements made to the radar system for greater accuracy. Fix an issue where certain car thumbnails did not match the selected livery in the car selection screen. Mod Hub installed. Items now display correctly in the installed tab. Mod Hub added a download in progress UI element for active downloads. Fixed an issue with loading and saving custom car setups while in the pits. Hopefully that is the bug that I was referring to. That is now corrected. That thing drove me nuts. Fixed an issue that showed incorrect opponents' numbers in race weekend when the identical vehicle option was enabled. Improved delta timings for practice and qualifying session. Digidas added This here is now going to get rid of my relative. Definitely going to get rid of the relative. But yes, like, you didn't get any of the features you wanted in this update, just so you know. Alright, so let's get out of this. Get the game booted up. This is, from my understanding, this is a smaller quality of life update. I want to say, now don't hold me to this, because things change, but I want to say the next update, they're planning to be a bigger update. This was just a, from my understanding, like I said, quality of life update. Fixing bugs, things like that. I don't know if this update is going to be like the player base reset that the game kind of needs, but an update's an update. I'll take it. I'm never going to complain about an update. Yeah, exactly, Slick. I mean, I had a little more insight to this, so I kind of had a general idea of what was coming for this, but I believe, again, speculation. Key word here, folks, speculation, because things change. Things change daily. I believe the next update, the plan is to have, I don't know why, I mean, unless I missed it in the, they didn't mention in that patch note there of any kind that the GT500s are back now. For example, the name change. So I'm glad we got this livery, by the way. But anyway, JP1 is now what the GT500 Evos are called. I'm assuming that is Japanese prototype. The cars are officially back. And the JP2s are the older GT500s. So again, apparently it was a licensing issue with the name. Gran Turismo stuff, you know, is what it is. Either way, the cars are back. Which is what I honestly, like I was expecting in this scenario. I was expecting to get the cars back with a name change, and that's kind of what we got, so. Alright, let's jump into multiplayer. See if there's anything in here. Those have been updated. Yeah, nothing available for me because what's been changed is just the liveries that I don't download. Alright, let's see what's in ranked. I don't know if this is updated. Falcon Pro Cup. Yeah, I think this is the last week's ranked. I don't know when it changes over, but either way, it's there. Go custom lobby. I want to drive the GT. I went the wrong way. Just because I want to see if these cars feel any different now. My ugly-ass streetcar liveries that were crucified for being boring and lame in the Discord. They're literally streetcar liveries using factory paint codes. Thank you, Riley, for making them, by the way. I don't know why people are such judgmental, opinionated cunts all the time, but that's besides the point. What do I want to do first? Sure, let's just start with Bathurst. Why not? Thank you, Shadow. I appreciate that. They're meant to be streetcar liveries. You know? That's why they look like they do. Alright, let's see. GTEs. I got a bunch of images. I'm going to have more coming, too. Your livery is wild. Yeah, you should, Matt. I honestly just go... I don't know why I do it to myself. I go in there just to read what the sentiment is, and it's only worse. It's just a bunch of toxic fangirls. I can't do it. I can't. No sympathy for me about that shit anymore. Honestly, if I were them, I wouldn't even have the Discord. Or I'd go on a ban spree. What do I want to do for cars? Add the GT3 since there were some changes there. Go JP2. I gotta get used to the names now. Turn damage off for now. Alright, let's get a lobby rolling here. Turn that on. I believe that's fixed now. I don't think you have to activate that anymore. I could be wrong. Alright, boys. You're around? Jump on in. Let's test this out. If there's any Aussies in chat by chance that are playing, please join. I want to test something. We're ready to catch up on chat while this fills up a little bit here. Sucks that licensing is an issue like it is. Also, license exclusivity shouldn't be a thing. Unfortunately, it is. You pay big bucks for it, but they did. It really is ridiculous. All right, Legolas, I'm going to try making contact with you. If you don't mind. Even if it's in qualifying. I have to test something. JP500 would have been another. Yeah, it keeps it clean, though. I mean, JP500 I like better, but honestly, when it comes to licensing and big companies, you're better off just doing something like they did, in my opinion. Leapers, man, no one expects a generic car to keep up with track liveries. I've always been a street car fan. I personally don't like... I've never liked the look of sponsored race cars. I don't know why that's like... Street cars look so much better. You go to a car show and you want to show off the visuals of your car. There ain't no sponsors on it. Street car. Heaven forbid you have anything nice, I know. Yeah, the Viper livery has to get fixed for the GTEs. The stripe is too far apart. It's already been submitted to be fixed. It's so hard to have structured discussions. I just message the devs directly now when I have something. That's all I've ever done, Matt. I've done that since day one, and I just got lucky with a response. Really, that's all it was. I don't give any feedback in the Discord publicly. I literally just message. What's going on, Ed? Very nice, Chandler. I saw those liveries. Yep, I have them. The young kids are calling down us making contact. Yes, sir. So wrong, race cars kill? Oh, Slick. Oh, we have a hard disagree right there. Whenever I see race cars, I want to see what they look like with all the sponsors and stickers removed. I know it's race car life, but, like, it will always just, I don't know. I'll never like it. Alright, I'll get us readied up for now. And, yeah, that's cool you went to Laguna Seca. Licensing issues, Skeet. Same way AMS2 doesn't have licenses for Ferraris, yet they have Ferraris in the game. Alright, Legolas, if you don't mind, I'd like... Actually, first of all, let me do this quick. Let's confirm that this works. Let's save a setup. Which is really just going to be taking fuel out of the car. Oh, and brakes, I believe. Oh, that's already there. Save. I think it's probably already here, but we're going to overwrite it. Confirm. Okay. Drive. Alright, where is Legolas? Legolas, if you can, meet me on the track. I want to see if I can make contact with you. Yeah, just drive into me. Blue Corvette, hard to miss me. Unless you don't have the liveries, then I'm a yellow Corvette. Okay. That's what I thought. Okay, that's what I thought. Confirmed! That's all good, like, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Alright, I'm gonna restart that now. Confirmed. Folks, what do you think I actually confirmed just now? uh... Here you go. That's the one, Lil Smurf. Legolas has over 200 ping to me. Alright, Legolas, you're free to do your quali and whatever else you want to do. Not in the patch notes, by the way. I'm actually very happy about that decision. I don't know about you guys. I would rather deal with weird contact than ghosting, and intermittent ghosting. Yeah, now I don't have to have the leaderboard on. I don't care about the entire grid. All I care about is what position I'm in and who's around me. So this is how I'm going to run it the whole time. Once I know that the fueling and, or sorry, the, what do you call it? The bug is fixed for setups. I'm probably going to turn off the DigiJazz Essential 2. You don't have to adjust force feedback on every car. You just can. I don't. The only time I ever adjust force feedback on a car independently over global is if that car has, like, severe issues with force feedback or something. But this is default, this car. You still, Ro, you still have the leaderboard. I just have it turned off. Yeah, Fway, that's, the thing about this game's force feedback is it really benefits to have a really, like, high-end wheel. Because, like, the G923s, like, it seems like it puts out a much lower initial. So if, let's just say you have your shit set to, like, 18 Newton meters total, it seems to hover in the lower part of that and only use the higher end for more extreme scenarios. Whereas if you have, like, Gran Turismo and you have it set to 18 Newton meters, the game will sit at, like, 17 the whole time. So it's just how the game, so I can understand why you would say it's floaty, but I don't experience floatiness. But I have a lot of wheelbase to sort of play with that. However, I also have my base settings set really well. I very much like this game's force feedback. Yeah, G923 is an example of just not enough wheelbase for this game. You have to crank up the force feedback on everything to get feeling. No, tomorrow. No, I did not up the low force. I run it at whatever default is. I think it's 10. Global's at, I'll have to look. Low force does help. I do recommend running low force. In fact, if you have a 6 Newton meter base, I would put low force at max in the global settings. Just max it out. All right, so let's check my vehicle set. All right, let's get in the car. Let's see if my settings took. All right, so we're still at 7 gallons. So I think we're good there. That's only one time, though. We got to make sure that stays working the whole time. Because I'm not going to... I'm going to use this car for a few races, and I'm never going to touch the setup. I want to make sure that it has 7 gallons every time I start a quali and a race. Because that means the setup is staying. Because the car's stock otherwise.
Let's stay out of trouble in the first few corners. No heroics out there.
Like, I just saw Legolas behind me. Oh, he's not used to contact with the U.S. guys. That's because I'm a filthy American, Hobnob. I'm telling you, this game would be so good with its current physics and cars to just implement a straight line track for drag racing. Just give us a pro tree, and that's it. That's all you need. Don't bother changing any cars for anything. There's enough range here. Luckily for me, I'm terrible at turning, so everybody gets the chance to come back. Chandler, GT feels the same. Feels the same as the last update. I don't know if that's an error in the patch notes, or if the changes that were made to these cars were so tiny that I just can't feel it, but they feel pretty much the same. But I like the way they felt before, so I'm not complaining. I always get worried when there's a car that I really like driving, and I see they made changes to it, because it's just as easy to go backwards as it is to go forward. For anybody wondering about the leaderboard and the DigiDash, I'm currently running it and I have my main one turned off. I like it better this way. I would always prefer very subtle, small, minimalistic HUD over having a Wikipedia page on my dashboard for when I'm racing. Yeah, when I watch like esports guys or like some of like the professionals who do this shit, and their screen is just the Matrix, I'm like, I don't know. I would never be able to focus on all of it. The second I take my eyes off where I'm going, I crash. I need only the information I need in front of me, which is... Realistically, I have everything I need on my wheel and on the car's dash for the most part. But all I care about is lap. The small relative like that, just so I know generally, I don't need to see the whole grid. I don't care about the 10 positions. I only care about the ones around me. And I do like to have the relative. I don't need it, but I like to have it. And it's out of the way, so... But I don't need a virtual mirror. I don't care about that. That's why it's off. I could make the argument that I don't even really need the radar. But right now, with the game's current sort of like collision physics, I'd rather have the radar because a slight bump can like ruin a race. Where in like a lot of other sims that are a bit more polished on the collision side, you can trade a little bit of paint, gently of course, and it won't like completely crash someone or ruin the race. I know tires and things like that are this more their priority from getting all these cars dialed in from a driving side, but I do really think that there needs to be some deviation to the collision physics. And by deviation, I mean resources. Because I think right now, the way the cars drive, there's a couple cars that are wonky. I think LMDH is probably the most problematic class, but it's also a very complex car. So I get why it's like that. But for the most part, though, all the cars have their own sort of unique driving. They all feel pretty decent. GT3 needs some work still. But the collision system, in my opinion, needs a lot more work than any class of car. Anybody ever seen the movie Flubber? Robin Williams? It almost feels like every car has a thin layer of flubber on it. So when you make contact, it's very bouncy. Like in real cars, especially at low mile-an-hour contact, they'll just absorb it. You'll just bend. Literally, it's called a fender bender for a reason. You'll collapse fenders, quarter panels, all things like that. All cosmetic damage that has no bearing on the car. But in this, what would be a fender bender bounces you off the car. I think this car drives great. Like I said, I've never driven a C6R, so I don't know how accurate this is, but I've driven a lot of C6s. And all aftermarket, all, heavily modified, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. And I can suspend very little disbelief and believe that this is fairly accurate in terms of overall physics from a car like this. I don't know if it's the time of day, but the windshield looks a little bit better. Still needs work. It needs to look like this. I can't drive without cockpit view, though. It's such a hard thing for me to do. It's weird. I used to not prefer cockpit view, and now it's all I can drive.
Okay, mate. Final lap. Keep focused.
Like, I just don't know where the car is when I'm not in cockpit view. Like, this view here is very... I don't know. I just don't know where the car is. I'll answer some of those more technical questions in a second once this race is over. This last lap. In my testing, though, So as you guys know, I'm on higher end hardware, which is where the MDI stuff will benefit less. But where I did notice a difference is when I fill the grid with 32 cars. My GPU stays at 100% usage. Whereas before, it would drop to like 75% usage with a 32 car AI. I forgot to mention AI grid. Because the AI is controlled primarily by the CPU, possibly solely. I don't fully know. So, when you'd run a 32-car grid, which is, again, this is the sole reason why we have 16-car grids on console. It's because the AI is controlled by the CPU, and consoles have much weaker CPUs, so you would lose a lot of frame rate running 32 AI cars on a PlayStation compared to 16. Like, a lot. Alright. That'll do. Alright, let's see. 6 Newton meter. Mo's R9 for your birthday tomorrow. Very nice, very nice. Mo's a solid company. That's actually a good point with the Supra. I'll have to look into that. What do I consider low force feedback? It depends. Because people have this assumption that, like, your total force feedback is what's being used the whole time, and that's your range. So, like, an 8 Newton meter base has a max of 8 Newton meters. But you might be driving around, let's just say your base is at 8 Newton meters and your game's using 100% of that. You might be riding around... Red Carpet, thanks for the sub. You might be driving around at 2 to 3 Newton meters the whole time. Until you hit something and then it's 8. So, it's hard to really say. It depends. 8 Newton meters... when it's using 8 Newton meters, is a lot of force. To be honest, I think the biggest thing is choosing not to have tire temps in front of you all the time. Makes a big difference to avoid driving by the numbers, for me at least. I agree. I mean, at least assuming I understand you correctly. The only time I ever care about tire temps is on the initial out lap. Like right now, I'm running pre-warm tires in this, so it's completely irrelevant to me. But like, unless there's a problem with the tires, like from a game standpoint, that needs to get fixed, I don't really care to know about my temperatures. Every once in a while, I'll check and see what my tire wear is like, and if everything's done right, that's all I really need to know. Obviously, overheating tires is a thing, but you can feel all of these things in the tires. If everything is done correctly, you don't need information to be told about your tires. You can drive the car, and the car will tell you what the tires are doing. You know? For example, my car will start getting real slidey when the tires are super hot. Ordered the super exhaust hitch to the R team. Thanks for the report. There you go. There you go. The roof on the dash is pretty cool. Agreed. Man, where is everybody? Come on, people. I know it's daytime. Yeah, as far I do have telemetry on my wheel, but believe it or not, the only thing that I use on my wheel that I actually care about, at least for this game, is my best lap and what gear I'm in. If I need a quick like eye glance, I don't really care to look at the screen. I can just glance down, you know. It also, well, ironically, it did have tire temperatures, but not anymore. Their latest software took it away, even though the game has it. Deep rank, that's gonna. I don't ever see that happening, and if that were to happen, that would be a long way off. Long way off. The game needs a lot of important things long before that, you know. JP2 is the new name for the older GT500s. All right. Gamepad, let me know when you're actually in, and I'll ready us up. Yeah, there would be, oh, you know what? Let me see, actually. Hold on. I just want to see something here. Kick. So, see, I don't want to kick him and then him not be able to get back in this particular lobby. So I'm curious how that works. I guess I'd probably want to ask Sora about that. He'd probably best know if how the kick feature works. Like, can they join? Does it just boot them from the lobby and then they can jump right back in? Or does it boot them from this lobby and they can no longer join this lobby until I create a new one? Oh, your Eek's got it. Got it. Trying my PS5. That's actually a good idea. Good call, Sway. Hold on, let me find out. Hold on, I'm gonna. Oh, hold on. I'm gonna unready us quick. I want to try something. Hold on. All right, let's see. Well, I thought. Multiplayer. Custom lobby. Hey! Look at this asshole who just joined. EJR Performance. Let's get rid of this asshole. I don't like him. Alright, kick EJR Performance. He's out. Disconnected from host. Please verify your network. Try again. Oh, so it doesn't even give you a oh, boy. I mean, that alone, I get why it's like that, but that alone is going to create some complaints. So basically it says, when you get kicked from the lobby, disconnected from host, please verify your network connection and try again. Do you have any idea how many people are going to bitch and moan and complain that the game's internet is broken? Try this again. Let's see if I can get back in now. Custom lobby. Yep. So you can get back in. So, I mean, that's probably the better way to do it, honestly. You might have to play kick roulette. But that being said, all right, let's get rid of this fucking cocksucker. All right, he's gone. Now that we know that works, I can shut live off. All right. Yeah, the problem is, though, is that if they change the wording to something that tells you that you got kicked out of the lobby, that in itself is going to create some problems. So I don't know what the proper way to do that would be. Can I kick during a race? Let's find out. Oh boy. All right, I promise this will be the last time. I'm gonna rejoin. My PlayStation's still on. It did allow me to rejoin, yes. But it's just a basic kick feature. It's not a ban feature. That's kind of how, if we have a block, which is a ban, it doesn't make sense to for kick to kind of do the same thing, you know? So let's just see. Custom lobby. Alright. Alright, now we're actually going to ready us up. Duchess, yes, I mean, I haven't looked, because I've had them the whole time, but they should be up again. The devs would have to confirm that. I'm sure the Discord will confirm. So what I'm going to do is see if I can kick myself during the race. Because that's actually, I think, more important. Be able to kick someone in the race than if kicking them in the lobby. Because the idea with kick is the only time you're going to kick someone is if they're a bad driver. Not necessarily, I mean, they could be typically if they're going to be an idiot where they're intentionally trying to be a rammer, yes, that's bad. But then you want to ban them. We already have that feature. So, standings, EJR performance, view profile, kick. Yep, kicked me. All right, so that's a good feature. That works. Perfect. Perfect. All right, we still got 7 gallons. Yeah, the windshield is still milky. The devs who are listening, I will be your best friends if in the next update, the windshield isn't milky. That's all. That's all I'm saying. Look at the difference. Milky windshield. That's all. That's all. That's all. Alright. Go back to pit. I'm not going to qualify. I'll spectate. Stop smoking in my car. I will say the visuals are looking crispy, though. Visuals are looking crispy. The shadows, there's still a little bit of, like, movement in the shadows, but it looks like those may have improved a little bit. Those were something that bothered me quite a bit. Again, I'm much pickier when it comes to a lot of visual stuff. But I've also had a pretty good overall experience with the game, performance-wise. So I know that I am in the minority on that, I guess. So for me, I focus more on visuals. But, yeah, I'd say shadows and the milky windshield are probably like my number 1 and number 2. The windshield more than the shadows. Yeah, the milky windshield comes from AMS2. Yeah, I know, it's the same way in AMS2. I've deleted the shader. Just remove the windshield and it's gone. They can very much do it. It's just low priority. That's the problem when you have a smaller team of developers rather than a bigger team. You have to deviate your resources to the most important things. And a milky windshield isn't breaking the game. But if you notice, all right, this is a perfect example to show you about, like, possibly like a slider later on for computers to turn the grass off. So if you look at the grass that you can drive on in the game versus the grass on the other side of the fence. The grass on the other side of the fence is just a texture. That's how LMU and a lot of these other games do it, and it offloads a lot of performance. That's why games like LMU get such great frame rates. They're not rendering any actual grass that's as far like interactive grass, you know? I'm all for the grass, but for the guys that don't have the horsepower, that's an easy way to not really ruin your visuals and, you know, get some frames out of it. Me, I would never turn it off because I like the grass. Yeah, removing the windshield is easier. Removing the milkiness without losing reflections is less simple. I'd say, personally, me, I would, this is my opinion. I know you guys, you know, you gotta build a game here. But my personal opinion, I would sacrifice all the reflections. I know it's realistic to have them and all that, but I'm very interested to see the overall feedback of the collisions now. Shadow pop-in is an issue in PMR. Yeah. There's always gonna be some form of pop-in, but at least on PC, in my opinion, I would like to see like a further away rendering of stuff like that, so the pop-in happens way, way, way off in the distance and you can barely see it. Obviously on console, let's face it, pop-in is a performance-related feature. If you could somehow render the entire track fully, even out of sight, do you have any idea how badly your frame rate would tank from that, you know?
No time set. We're starting
So
back at the grid. It's going to be a long race.
But either way, it's getting there. Looking good. Looking a whole hell of a lot better than day one, that's for damn sure. Facing my race room for me at the moment is a simplified sequential gearbox model where it always auto clutches even if the real car didn't. I want to say it's like that in this too. I could be wrong, although I do think the mechanics in this are a little bit better than race rooms when it comes to, for example, H-pattern cars. Always shift differently. In fact, oh, my fuel's at 11 gallons. So it does reset still. That bug is unfortunately still present. That's a bummer.
Okay, mate, you can do this. Let's
I had
see
7 gallons of fuel in qualifying. It now reset my setup. Oh. That's my bad. Thought I had you cleared. What's going on, Mayhem? Whoop! I know, Ro. It's very, very basic driving etiquette. Someone's spitting out in front of you, don't drive through them at full throttle. I don't know why people drive like that. It's all like the Need for Speeders, I think. I don't know. It was Eric. What are you referring to at 60 hertz? I don't know. I'm a little annoyed that the pit bug is still there. I had 7 gallons in qualifying, and then when I loaded into the race, my setup wasn't applied. This showed up with 2.0. Oh.
Good drive, mate. You're in the points.
Multitasking.
And here comes Moss, well out in front with the lead. And Fangio is there too, followed by Italian Umberto Maglioli in a Ferrari.
Looks like you can... That might be fixed.
At the finish, just over 10 hours later, it's Moss who crosses the line to win in record time. Fangio comes second, and Malioli third, making Moss the first British driver ever to win this famous race.
All right, we're back. Sorry. Talking to Sora. I don't know why I'm talking to him on my phone when I can do it on my computer. All right. I was testing some things for Sora just now. PS5 stuff. All right, let's change this around. I want to get in a GTE. Wrong way. I want to use one of my ugly ZR1 liveries. There we go. Look how ugly these liveries are. Man, that's so ugly. Factory Streetcar ZR1 livery. What about Ford GT? What's Ford GT looking like? Ugly. Super duper ugly. Anyway. No disconnect issues, Tiger Legend. That's good. That's good. When's the last time you played?
Fangio comes second, and Malioli third, making Moss the first British driver ever to win this famous race.
All right. I don't want to block Legolas on my PS5, but I want to test PS5 to PS5 blocking. I'm curious if it works now. I mean, technically, it's only it's not gonna. This is primarily where I play on my PC, but I just don't know if I fully trust unblocking. You know, how's this for service? Subaru exhaust problem is fixed and ready to go in future patch. Perfect, Brendonian. Is it Brendan or Brendonian? I mean, it's probably Brendan if I had to guess, but. Also, I don't know if you heard me, but the bug with the setups is still present in the game. I can speak to you directly about that if it's easier, rather than listening to my bullshit on stream. But applying the setups to the cars randomly unapplies them. Brendan, got it. Got it. No more than a week ago. Yeah, Foy, if you want to boot up PS5 and jump in the next lobby, and then I'll try blocking you on my PS5 and seeing if that works. That's the ultimate test. But before, you couldn't view PS5 user profiles and you couldn't block PS5 profiles with the PS5. It was a PS5 to PS5 specific thing. So I just viewed Legolas's profile, no problem. No, this is my standard lobby, but I guess I could actually wait. I can just do. Yeah, I just realized. All right, I just quit that. I'll put up a random lobby. Yeah. Call. All right, lobby's up. It's EJR Performance. Yeah, he meant the Supra, not Subaru. Sorry if you're listening. I'm checking to see if I can block someone on PS5 with a PS5 now. No, tomorrow I have two different. I have a PS5 and I have PC. EJR Performance is my PS5. I'm testing something on PS5. You're currently watching my PC stream, though. Also using a PS5. I'm multitasking. Always listening, except when you're not. Well, I'm just waiting for Fway to get in the PS5 lobby, and I'll see if I can kick him out. Or block him, whatever. Subaru, Supra, Suzuki, they're all the same, right? Hold on. Subaru, or not. It's a Subaru slash a Supra right here. This is my Subaru Hayabusa. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the orange. How big is the new patch update? As far as like file size, I don't know. I wasn't paying attention. It's probably a couple gigabytes. Hold on. Fway Loco, here we go. Let's see if I can get rid of you. Hold on. Fway, first I'm going to kick you, and then I want to see if, first of all, if that works, and then rejoin. I want to see if I can ban you. Man, all the wrong buttons. Alright, I kicked you. So that worked. Join back up again, Fway, and then I'm going to try blocking you. No, we don't have joining in session, Chandler. I'm multitasking. Alright, here we go. Moment of truth. Are we going to get them blocked? Way Loco. Lock.
Yeah, mate. Well, we didn't set a time, so we'll be starting from the back, I'm afraid.
don't think block works. I blocked him and nothing happened, and then when I click block again, it says you've already blocked this player, but it doesn't come up as a blocked player. Oh well. I shut my PS5 off. I already shut my PS5 off. So the block feature doesn't work unless it just doesn't kick them out of the lobby. If I kicked you, that's actually a good point. Damn it. I'll get it booted up again, and I'll see if you can rejoin my lobby. Now multitasking while racing. I'm too distracted. Focused on this damn PlayStation shit. Alright, Foy, I'm gonna make a new lobby quick, and then join that. All right, lobby's up. It's Mount Panorama. GT. Fail to join lobby doesn't let you know it? Perfect. Well, you can find the lobby, but you just can't join it? Cool. Alright, so next update, Sora, now you know what to fix. You gotta get it so the ban feature also kicks him out of the lobby. You're almost there! You've almost got it all working, Sora! Watch you fix that and break viewing profiles again? Yeah, exactly. Just came to drop in. I'm no streamer. I got recommended to buy the game 100 hours in and loving it. Very nice, Maverick. Very nice. Game's a lot of fun. Game's a lot of fun. Hopefully this little quality of life update, you know, polishes out some gremlins. Like I said, I think contact physics is probably the next biggest thing on the chopping block in terms of what's already here content-wise. But for the most part, though, decent little update, I would say. Join in Progress is obviously going to be the major sort of feature update. Oh! Sorry, you are far too young to be telling jokes like that. That's all I'm saying. Far too young. Alright. That's enough bug chasing for now. Let's actually do some racing. Or Sora, hear me out. Hear me out. Maybe
Nice work.
just answer like a regular human being. We need fictional tracks so bad. Well, those will come over time. Fictional tracks are easier, technically. Do whatever you want and don't have to worry about paying for it license-wise. Real tracks are the challenging part. The only slightly more difficult thing with a fictional track is you need to have creativity. Alright. Derby. Derby, as some people say, even though it's Derby. If you say Darby instead of Derby, that's not an accent. That's just said wrong. Any fictional track can be real if you know what I mean. I might be picking up what you're putting down, but I'm taking that a couple different ways. Yeah, that the Apex Nova track's gonna be pretty good in my opinion for like Group C. In fact, I'm probably only gonna run Group C on that track. Here we go. Let's get some people in here. Always the GT3s, but it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Hey! Upriver Seal. Using the other livery. I like to see it. We're the only two GTEs, but that's fine. Americans have perfect English. Americans can do no wrong. I guess I'm the only GTE. That's fine. Porsche. Do you guys pronounce the E or no E in general, chat? Wait for you, Foy? Well, hurry up. You got 46 seconds. Two PC players, man. Oof. Oof. That's fine though. I don't even care, if I'm being honest with you. I don't think people realize how like cross-platform works. Like, alright, Poison. If your game hypothetically flops on PC, but is massively successful on PS5, then the game is successful. Doesn't need to be successful on each individual platform for the game to be successful. Look how good that looks. Come on, streetcar livery. Look how good that looks, folks. C7ZR1 right there. Only stream numbers count? It's true. Steam numbers count, sorry, yeah. That being said, though, it still needs players, still needs more players, because I've experienced it prior to this patch, and I don't know how long this patch will keep players around, you know? I don't really, I'll be completely honest with you, I don't know. I don't understand the climate of video games, so... All I know is someone keeps smearing stale-ass milk on my windshield. I'm gonna try driving in this view for a second. That way I don't gotta look at the windshield. Probably an unpopular opinion. But in this game especially, GTE is far better than GT3. The GTEs make me never, ever want to look at a GT3 in this game ever again. The reality is, whoop, there's only one way to say Porsche. How does Porsche say it? Porsche or Porsche? I don't know. I assume it's Porsche, because it just sounds like that's how they would say it. Look at that. Did you see that? Saw me coming and just parked it on the brakes. Driving etiquette. It's a wonderful thing. I don't know where he's I don't know where he was going. Wrong layout, bro. Up. I meant purely from a driving standpoint, Eric. Like the way they handle, the way they drive, their physics. Oh! Damn it. The line back on for now. I'm lazy. I don't feel like try-harding it, so that's the biggest time I like the line on, when I don't feel like try-harding. I want to be told what to do. I want a GPS. Mags, I would say it's a quality of life patch. If I had to, like, summarize it relatively quickly. It does look like ghosting is gone, though. I'm actually glad if ghosting is like completely gone. I prefer it that way. You know, obviously, like I said, collision physics need some work in the game. But I would rather deal with some weird collisions than the entire Russian roulette of ghosting cars versus not ghosting cars. And I think, I will say, I think a lot of, based off of what I've been seeing from a lot of people, people prefer that. No ghosted cars. Obviously, the, you know, teleporting cars and stuff like that. Over time, interconnect will get more, because here's the thing, the last time we didn't have ghosted cars, the overall connections were a lot worse than they are now. So, hopefully, even with some weird contact physics, the overall experience right now is a lot better than it was before the cars got ghosted. My guess is it will be, but we'll see. Look at the difference, guys. Look how, like, good that looks. And then, like, the hazy, milky windshield. I know I keep harping on it. I'm sorry. But it's what I see. It's the first thing I see. The first thing I see. Beautiful. Someone smeared milk on my windshield.
Keep focused. Let's get a good start. Take some of those cars off the line.
Sorry for the bump. I think that was PC Garbo. Sorry I bumped you. I don't know if that was an incident or purely my fault, but either way, apologies. Screw that pylon. We don't need that. See, that right there is, I always forget, I gotta lower my brake pressure in these cars. And because the setups don't automatically apply, I forget until it's too late. No apologies in racing, only ego. Well, I don't know anything about racing. I've never done it before. I actually, Chandler, I could have launched faster. I forgot this car has TC. I launched it like it didn't have TC. Like, because I came completely off the throttle. Car drives so good. Yeah, I saw your other comment before, Ski. Congrats. What do you have now? I forgot. So just a Newton meter upgrade, I guess. Very nice. I can hit him now. I gotta be careful. But see, like, I can tell Legolas has a good internet connection because he has like 250 ping from me. And look at his car right now. So, I know a lot of people always like look at the game when it comes to like connectivity issues. But sometimes you gotta get your house in order when it comes to the internet stuff. The worst thing his car does is the little bit of bounce, which there's, as of right now in the game, that's it, that's the way it is. When a car has very high ping, you'll see a little bit of like bounce. Other than that though, he's not teleporting, he's not jumping around, he's not skipping. Nice smooth. And he has the highest ping to the server. At least from me anyway. What I recommend, Little Smurf, is actually, I'll see if I can use my vocals and potentially have like a, so I don't know if you ever played AMS2, but AMS2 has a spotter that I really, really like. It's a braking zone spotter, though. So basically, it doesn't say anything. It's just a little arrow, like in rally racing, that tells you that, hey, you got a left or a right coming up. The angle of the turn and the color of the turn is essentially the severity of it. It works really well, because in AMS2, let's just say it's a hairpin right turn, and it's a red arrow. As soon as that comes on, hit the brakes. You need to stop. I really like it. It works really well. And it doesn't it doesn't break any immersion whatsoever. Because that's the real only reason I don't like the line, is the immersion that comes from it. The lack of immersion, I should say. I couldn't care less if people care that I have it on or not. That means literally less than zero to me. However, visually, I just don't like the line on because it does a little bit pull you out, you know? Because, like, I only use the line if I'm either, like, what I'm doing right now, like, I'm being lazy. I'm using the line, right? Or by that, I mean, like, I'm looking at it. Whereas a lot of tracks that I know, or I might know decently, but not, like, to the best potential, I might glance at the line and see what the line recommends, you know? But I'm doing both. I'm racing my own line and using the line at the same time as a reference point. Right now, I'm being lazy and I'm, like, staring at it. Because I just don't feel like, you know, try-harding. Yeah, I know it's not by default. I'm just saying AMS2 has that, and that feature, and I really like it. Because I never need the line. I only care about recommended braking zones. Especially for learning a new track and just not driving off the track. But as far as the lines, if I'm following a line, like the green line, I mean, it's usually because it's the best line to follow. Unless it's a track that I've never ridden on. Or driven on. There we go. There we go. I'm reading the Discord. I'm actually seeing some positive things about computers running better. Other than that, though, I'm not reading too much into the Discord because people will just find a way to ruin everything, you know? I do think that Straight 4 in general needs to focus more on website information and not Discord. I know that requires more work, but it's the face... It's the number one way to advertise your business is the website. But it's the, as far, like, number one place to get information. Like, the Discord should be, like, a place to, like, discuss, sort of like a Reddit, where you could discuss a change or something like that, make recommendations for future things, but the website should be where you go for like number one information. That I think is something that even if they hire an intern that's just web design or website management, whatever, that would be, I think, the number one thing that I would change from a that's not the game development side of things, but is just, you know, how things look from the outside looking in. Just my opinion. They're never happy in there. No, they're never happy in there. Not to mention, too, like, if I was a dev reading the Discord, I probably would have quit my job and I'd be on suicide watch. I'd have banned so many people from that page, it's not even funny. But that's also why I would never be a good moderator. I don't like your face. Banned. What shoes are those? Banned. Let's see. It would be easy for me to get at least high, dim green areas in the line, but it's questions of priority. We need to decide if that's an extra option in the preferences page. Yeah, I hear you. It's tough right now because obviously the priority number one is join in progress. I just don't know like how specific tasks are to certain people or not. How much does like say join in progress affect the guys who are focused on art direction? You know, things like that. I would say the line is definitely not a priority. I would not prioritize it over something that's actually important. But, oh. Yeah, see this guy here, I'll be curious what contact is like with him. Because that stickiness is actually him teleporting from bad connection. That's not my computer or anything hitching. That is me following his location according to the server. Good to see Tiger Legend having a good experience. Thanos was right. I don't disagree. It's a big reason why Thanos was so popular. In your lobby, gain an extra 10 and 25 FPS on your 3070 Ti. I see no point testing on your 4090. Very nice, very nice. Yeah, the lower, essentially, it's mainly gonna, like, the number one place that the MDI stuff is really gonna affect performance is when you're in a scenario where you have an older CPU. So, for example, a place where join in progress would likely be, I mean, not join in progress, MDI would be the most beneficial to someone is like if you have a 5090 GPU and like a, I don't know, a Ryzen 1700X or something really old, you know, where offloading the CPU onto the super powerful GPU alleviates a shitload of CPU bottleneck. But in the opposite scenario, where if you have, like, say, a 9800X3D and you're on like a 2070 NVIDIA 2070, you're going to see very little performance update. In fact, you might even see a loss because you've taken something away from the CPU and made the GPU do it. Because that's all the MDI really is, essentially. I mean, I'm oversimplifying, but you're essentially just unloading the CPU from certain tasks in the game and putting it onto the GPU. So it really comes down to, in general, like if you were to compare the best CPU in the world versus the best GPU in the world, the GPU is far more powerful. Which is why it's, from when it comes to 3D modeling and rendering and all that, it's always better to load up the GPU. It's more powerful. Way more powerful than a CPU. I have no idea, Canadian, what's how like transparent they're going to be on DLC information previous to DLC. I don't really know how that works, but that's up to them. Anything better for a controller or now? I do not know V6 Burnout. I do not play on controller to be able to tell you that. General progress is all Sora. Of course, the team efforts to some extent, but the art team won't be involved. Got it. Got it. Graver, I would say it is worth buying. I mean, I've had it since day one. I've enjoyed it since day one, but it has gotten substantially better since day one as well. So, I mean, it's a different game, though, than LMU. The best way I can explain to people the difference between LMU and PMR is LMU is a race simulator, PMR is a driving simulator done through racing. If that makes any sense. PMR focuses more on the driving experience of driving race cars throughout the decades. LMU focuses on the racing experience in modern-day race cars. And by the racing experience, I mean that's not all good. It is a much more authentic racing experience. I mean, has anybody here ever been racing in real life? And by that, I mean been to a drag strip, been to a circuit of any kind, any track day of any kind, autocross, anything. You spend most of the day in the pits, you got to tech in, you got to go through all the red tape, all of that stuff. LMU does a better job at making it feel more like an authentic racing experience. PMR is a better driving experience. If that makes sense. Me personally, I want to get in the car and do some racing. I am like that in real life. I always hated going to the track because of all the red tape. Street was free. Street was do whatever you want, which is why I've been primarily a street guy my whole life. But obviously, circuit racing is harder to do and things like that on the street. Obviously, it's all harder to do on the street. But point is that this focuses a lot more on driving. If I had to pick this or LMU to drive in and do some racing, I'd choose the... Oh, shit! As I say that. Well, ain't nobody ghosted anymore, folks. And that is why I have damage turned off right now. That would have just ruined a lot of people's races. Half of a race day is waiting for everybody's car to get inspected? Exactly. Let alone if someone actually oils down the track. Those are always the best. You have no idea how long someone dragged oil all the way around the track. Or drag strip, wherever you're going. And you have to wait for them to clean the track. Provided they have good racing standards and care about that type of thing. Most tracks don't want their customers to die. I do think LMU is getting better at driving. But I do like this better from a driving experience. That being said, I would say PMR is more of a casual experience, although I wouldn't necessarily say that's a bad thing. I am a casual. I like my video games to, while feel real, still be a video game. Less red tape, more action. Get me in the car, let me do some racing. Like, for example, we're in custom lobbies right now. I throw up a lobby instantaneously, set all the rules, do whatever I want to do. Boom, we're ready to race. We're going. LMU? I will be experimenting with that, making my own server, but... Oh, Jesus Christ. The AI is definitely getting better. So this is the weird thing about AI. Oh my god. Oh my god. Alright. It's hard to talk and drive and do all the things. And worry about getting killed by other drivers. LMU to me feels more try-hard. This feels more casual. But that doesn't have anything to do with the driving and the experience of the game. I would rather play this. If both games had an insane amount of people playing them, I would play this over LMU. But LMU does have its place, and it is very good at it. In my opinion, you should have both. If PMR dials in its overall rank play, like for me personally, like LMU is better at ranked, 100%. Like if you are the die-hard, you know, gotta have a killer rank system and a blah blah this, that, and the other thing, LMU is a lot better. But if you're more of a casual ranked player, like that's kind of like, I mean, I really don't like ranked at all personally, but I'll do it because there is some, you know, methodology to it, some tactic. You got to be a little bit more careful. Don't take the same chances you would take in a race that's not ranked, you know, things like that. You got to pay more attention because it actually means something, even though technically none of it means anything. Like, I'm probably going to be playing LMU on... Depends on what the ranked races we get next. Rotation for this. But I'm probably going to be playing LMU Wednesday day, and then PMR Wednesday evening for custom lobbies. But the number one thing that dictates me playing this game is, are there people to play it with? You know? Every time I play the game, from a driving experience, I love it. But in my opinion as well, currently, if we're going to compare just GT3 and just hypercars, I actually think LMU drives better. But I also think that those are the worst cars in this particular game. It also kind of sucks that they're the most popular cars. Oh, I'm driving like shit in this. Alright, screw it. I'm gonna talk chat. My god, my mouse is not getting a good connection. I'm gonna have to run a wire just for my mouse. It's so annoying. I have something that's causing interference in my way of my dongle. I'm gonna have to... I mean, I guess I could probably run the dongle somewhere else with a wire, but it's still a wire. Oh, eeks. Connection. Didn't even make it to turn 1. Yeah, I know. That's the one downside to a lot of people playing a game. Yeah, Japanese prototype is the new name for the GT500s. It's so weird the things you have to do to avoid like the red tape bullshit that is the modern world. Like a name of something. It's clearly the same shit. But like I said, AMS2 has Ferraris. Ever heard of a 360 Modena? It's called a Milano in AMS2, like the cookie. There is still ghosting and obviously in post-race. These guys are all past the race, so these cars will drive through each other. Being old as dust, I just like to have good physics and good feel for the car. Looking at what I'm seeing, I guess. I don't know how old you are, Graver, but if you like a lot of older... Like, this car has a vast array of race cars throughout the ages, which is where this game shines. The problem is a lot of younger people don't give a shit about older cars. They just want to be in the Me Too cars. So that's what GT3s are. Disagree with me, that's fine. GT3s are Me Too cars. They're the Me Too generation participation trophy cars. People only want to drive them because it's the cool car and everybody wants to be cool. I'll take a Sauber C9 or a 787B any day over 15 GT3 cars.
That's a podium finish, mate. Good work.
But yeah.
Nice job.
But, I mean, LMU, I think, is doing good. I think this game is doing good from a development standpoint. I don't know. I don't know any of the behind the scenes, like, how the game is doing. But, because all that matters, too, is, like, when people don't understand is that, like, how business works. This game doesn't need to be as big as GT7. It doesn't need to have as many people buying it as GT7. It doesn't have as big a studio. It doesn't have as many people to have to pay. Like, me, what I do for a business, there are companies that move a lot more money than I do year round. A lot more money. I am one person. I technically work from home. My shop is at my house. So, part of my mortgage includes the cost of my shop. So my overhead is way lower to run my business than it is a much bigger business with a dedicated garage and all that stuff. That would be the GT7 comparison in this case, you know? Now I don't know how big GT7 is by comparison or Polyphony is by comparison to Straight 4, but the point is that I don't necessarily care about the numbers on that side of things. I just want the game to be fun. And if the game continues to be fun, continues to get updates, continues to be developed, what the game makes for money and that shit, none of that's my problem. Respectfully. My problem is the game. If the game's good, then I'm happy. And I don't care about what anybody else says. You know, let's try, let's switch it up for a second here. My God, my mouse is driving me nuts. Skipping all over the place. Look at this. I gotta figure out what the interference actually is that causes it, though. Let's see. I am gonna get... What are the most common cars people are using right now? GT3. Who knew? Who knew? GT3. Alright, so I'm going to swap out the GTEs. Least used. Oh, Jesus. I'm sitting here cycling through. Like, what's going on? Why is this not working? Finished first, but showed you DQ. Interesting. Exactly, Victory. Exactly. Like, I like the all the GT3 cars, I like the street car versions of those cars. I like them far more than I like GT3 cars. But if I'm going to use a race car, I want a race car. Hyper or some variant throughout the years of hypercar. Like, give me something that I cannot experience anything parallel to on the street. You cannot get... The closest thing to a 787B in real life for a street car is an RX-7 with a 4-rotor. And even that, still too much of a race car for the street. It's just in the chassis of a street car. The chassis of the 787B is what's going to make that 4-rotor really shine. I'll add GT4 in a bit. I want to get into the Group C. And speaking of Group C, let me get back my round wheel. You want to know where PMR shines, Graver? F40's good. F40's good, Captain Crunch. Not in the game, but good car. This is where PMR truly shines. I could do this all day. Captain America style. GT3 said what? I think I saw... Let me go back to the pit. Well, I want to see something here, quick. Forgot this wheel's not bound at all for anything. Oof. Oh, I blew it. I'd say it's a close second, Mayhem. This is my favorite, personally. The auto blips, if you paddle shift this car or use sequential, whatever, the auto blip sounds real good. Listen.
End of session, mate. Check and flag this lap. You fastest lapping class. You're on fire today.
Question is, should I go H pattern? This, I forgot. Damn, is the 787B an H pattern or sequential? It's an H pattern. I'm pretty confident it's a 5-speed H pattern, correct? Just Google it. Five-speed manual, H pattern. They are aware of the wheel lockout issue with some of these older cars. Yeah, you're going to be spending some time in settings and configuring things, Draver. Just spend a little bit of time with it.
P2, that's P2. Unlucky, mate. Not quite enough for pole today, but we're on the front row for the race. And that's all that matters now.
Whatever. I gotta bind all these buttons on this wheel so I can't change anything. I can't look or... Oh, I can look behind me. Never mind. That's there. Can't look left or right, though.
Focus on the lights. We can take them into the first corner.
The hell? That was weird. My car wouldn't go in gear until the race started. Okay. What is happening over here? Might have to experiment with that kick feature. Listen to this thing. Dude. What do we think? Should we test it out? What do you think? Should we test out the kick feature? This guy's I don't know why he drives around that one. Let's watch him for a second. Palpatine voice. Because he's not even making an attempt at this chicane. Oh, now he is. Oh, nice. Well, yeah, that's an example of crash physics need to get fixed. At a certain speed, crash physics just completely don't work. He drove through me despite no ghosting, but he just hit me while driving through me. And that happens at a certain speed. Why I can't intentionally crash Sora when I drive really, really fast. I drive right through him. True, today is Star Wars Day. Yeah, in my opinion, like I have a lot of like little nitpicks that are specifically you know, personal bugs of mine that I'd like to see fixed, but none of them are game breaking. I think the one thing from a gameplay standpoint that really needs to be addressed is collision physics. I don't know how pressing it is behind the scenes, but I feel like it should go pretty high up on the list. I know games are not designed for you to crash, because that's, but like in this case here, I want to see what he does here now. Yep. Goodbye. Now I got you on film doing it, so we're good. You had an opportunity to make it right and not get the boot, but as soon as there was somebody in front of you in that turn, you took advantage of it. Goodbye. That's why the kick feature's nice. Maybe he'll correct his ways. He comes back and does it again, then he gets a ban. That's, by the way, that's how I plan on treating the kick versus ban feature in this. Unless you're like, and it's super obvious that you're like going backwards on track, shit like that. Then you'll get an immediate ban, obviously. But like, I don't know if he's being lazy or what his problem is, but that warrants a kick. Yeah. This update added a kick feature, Andre, but I could have, the same thing would have happened if I blocked him. If I blocked him, you get booted from the lobby right away. They don't override. Kick is just not permanent. Kick is just this race. I just kicked him out of this race. He's not permanently, like, losing his ability to join the lobby. I wouldn't even call it stream sniping. Anytime someone was in front of him, he would cheat to win. He would cut corners. The time penalty you would get for cutting that chicane, it's faster to just cut the chicane. By a lot. So in that regard, goodbye. Oh, that's annoying. Till I get my button binding figured out. I'm gonna run this wheel. Small things, Traps. A quality of life update. There's no ghosting anymore, Trap. You can hit people. Hit everybody. There's a kick feature. They did a lot of massaging of cars, massaging of AI. The MDI stuff on PC, which is performance stuff.
Good drive.
More
mate.
rubbing for you. Yep. Well, you and I are fine anyway. But now you can rub the Aussies, and you can rub them the wrong way. If you catch my drift, or the right way. Guy on turn 1 tried the ghosting feature with you. Was that the guy in the black Saber C9? Yeah, I know that, Victory. And I agree, it shouldn't be a priority. It's a small niche. It's important, for sure. But, not as important as a lot of the missing game features and other assets that need to get changed around and things like that. All right, choose your cars. Choose your destiny. I have about 35 more minutes in me. This one, like I said, this one I'm going to go just a little bit shorter. This is more of an exploratory stream. Tonight, I will for sure, by 11 o'clock, be back online for custom lobbies again like this. And I'll put a little more effort into the lobbies rather than just, you know, be distracted with other things. We'll do longer races, maybe throw some weather in there. Mix it up a little bit. Right now, we're just doing standard 5-lap, you know, no nonsense stuff. Actually, you know what? Let's test out for this last one, or last couple. Let's put damage back on. See how the crash physics ruins that, if it does. I'll be curious. Overall, the experience is, like, the crash physics are still there. Like, I think they're probably the same way they were since pretty much day one, in my opinion. The overall netcode and everything is a lot better, so the experience is better. But, like, the way that dude drove through me, like, actually, you know what? Here, I'll show you what I mean. So right here. The way this guy drives through me right here. This is the Sabre C9 that I had to kick out. Watch the physics right here of him driving through me. See how I got hit directly, but I didn't, like, there was no actual crash? That's what I mean by crash physics. At a certain speed, the crashing, like, stops happening. And physics completely go out the window. We're not ghosted, remember that. See? Dude. No, Red Alpha, it's not ghosting. There's no more ghosting. That's full contact. It's the crash physics. Or contact physics, I should say. They're not fully developed, in my opinion. They need work, for sure. Alright, so notice, right here, right? This is what I mean by the bug. I did not apply the setup to this car. Brendonian, if you're still watching by chance, I did not apply the fuel to this car. 7 gallons. This is my setup, which is really just a fuel change. When I go into the race, I'm most likely gonna have 11 gallons. So let's keep our eye on that. I still think this is my favorite car in the game. Like, individual car to drive. Not sure, Chandler.
Checker flag out. Session is done. That's the fastest
All right.
lap in our class. Great work. Keep on it.
Now let's see. Let's pay attention to fuel. It should reapply my setup for the race when the race starts. And then have 7 gallons in it. But I'm pretty sure it's not going to apply the setup for the race, and it's going to have 11 gallons of fuel. If it's got 11 gallons of fuel, it did not apply the setup. In my case, it's only fueling and technically brake pressure, but it's only the amount of fuel I have in the car. But for someone that relies on like a die-hard setup that completely changes the overall setup of the car, that's going to be very, very noticeable. Has anybody in chat, have you had an opportunity to play yet today or no? All right, here we go. Let's see if the car has 7 or 11 gallons of fuel in it. 11 gallons of fuel. Did not apply the setup. So Brendonian, if you are still watching, that is what the bug is. However, if I applied the setup in qualifying, even though it worked in qualifying already, if I applied the setup, it would be working right now until the next race. Then it would reset again to only working in qualify. It only auto applies in qualifying. How was it, Cruiser? All I've done is custom lobbies. I tested the kick feature, it works. Yeah, I'm glad the ghosting is gone. But now they just have to fix the collision physics, and then I think it'll feel really good. Yeah, it was always a temporary fix, Cruiser, but I think this is more of an experiment, honestly. I would rather have it fix the core problems, you know, and we'll tolerate it. We'll tolerate the core problems in the medium rather than tolerating the core problems with the mix match ghosting, you know. Yes, there is, Jack. There's a kick and a ban. You can rejoin up right after a kick. Yeah, there needs to be a ban feature as well, Mayhem. I only kicked one guy today, but he didn't come back. But at the end of the day, though, if they're in the race, if you kick them, because there's no joining in race, obviously. So if you kick them during the race, they're gone. I love that car. I love that car. Tiger Legend, so far so good, no issues.
Yes, mate. Amazing drive. You are the winner.
All right, last race, folks. You already know what this means. Have a good one, Legend. You have a C6 or you have a C6R as your daily? Best online racing session since released? Good to know. I'm glad to hear that. Glad to hear that. Turning off quali for this, though. We're not doing 5 laps. How much time we got? I'm going to do 2 laps. 2 laps, and then we're done. And I'm readying this up now because I'm on borrowed time. I got to be done by 2, so I got 15 minutes. Also, I'm going to, real quick, I lied. I'm going to turn damage off. That way people are more inclined to finish the race. Jack, it would be a lot easier to read the patch notes, but Kick, MDI is the for computers only right now. That's not applied to console players yet. That will come the next update or the one after that, maybe. A lot of car optimization, throttle optimizations, AI optimizations. Oh, we got GT500s are back there, just now called Japanese prototypes. There's no VR support yet. MDI was the first step in that direction, though. MDI is for performance, and you need good performance before you implement VR. O6 LT3, very nice. Very nice. Someone just click get in the car.
Okay, mate. We need to defend pole position. Pressure's on. Keep focused.
Oh, okay. This person definitely has a 15-second penalty in front of me. That is how you drive around a car. Don't just drive through it. Agreed. Fogbound. Well, I mean, supposedly on real life it's a drive-through. I'd have to look that up. Oh, he spun out again. I think from a video game standpoint, it should have like a varying consequence depending on what you do. Like if you red light by like 1,000th of a second, I think like a 1 second penalty is fair because it's a 1,000th of a second. If you leave seconds before everybody else, that should be a DQ. But these are all from a video game standpoint, not following any kind of real rules. A lot of like decision making when it comes to video games, from a quality of life standpoint and enjoying the product you've made, you have to make decisions based off the fact that it is a real video game and it's not real life. Which is why solo qualifying is so much more important than realistic qualifying. Because in real life, there are consequences. There are not in the video game, which makes people do whatever they want to do. Oh shit. Turned in way too hard right there. That was the worst carousel. Agreed. But the reason why I think there needs to be a varying penalty for it, though, is because you don't want to encourage everyone to no longer pay attention to the tree anymore. So, like, if 1,000th of a second red light gets you a disqualify, I get it, why that would be a realistic legal thing, penalty, whatever. From a video game standpoint, I want to beat you at the light. But if I'm just a little bit too gun shy, now I have a full 1 second penalty from a 1,000th of a second advantage I got. However, the people that are looking to cheat need to get DQ'd. Because there are a lot of races where I'm in the opposite scenario, where I get a red light from like no more than a couple thousandths of a second. And I get a 15-second penalty on a track that's gonna, like, I'm racing with a good grid of people that if I could win this race, now I'm in last place because I can't clear anybody by 15 seconds. So that's where I think like a varying penalty based off of the time taken from the red light should determine, you know, what you get. Because you always want to be discouraged from getting a red light. Always. But you want a cheater to have no chance at recovering from it. But if you had to go with one scenario, I do agree with DQ. Simply because if I get a 15-second penalty on, let's say, a thousandth of a second red light, I know I can't win that race. Just DQ me. I'm wasting my time doing laps. And not for nothing. What does LMU and ACC do? I don't remember. Rolling start, so obviously if you go before the green light does, like in general, I think you get DQ'd. God, I am sucking the fat one in that carousel. Holy shit. Learn to drive, bro. Chaitanya, not sure how to say that. Thanks for the sub. Adri33 Tube, thank you for the sub. Oh. I lost a second, a relative right there, or Delta. Looking at chat, seeing who subbed. Oh, shit. Did not mean to hit that curb. Oh, man. I'm foobarring this all sorts up in the end. All right. That's a wrap.
What a race. That's P1, mate. P1.
Yeah, contact penalty. That's going to be a hard one to do, though. I agree contact penalties need to be a thing, but it's going to be a very, very hard one to do. No game does that right. Did anybody put up a qualifying or a lap that was legal? Am I the only one that finished a lap without a track limit? Come on. Come on. Anyway. All right, folks. That's doing it for now. I got to get off. I have to go food shopping and do some stuff around the house. But I will be back on tonight at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time for everything you saw here today, but we're going to put a little more variety into it. We'll be opening the Discord and stuff like that. We'll be back to our night evening streams, probably playing this. As long as people are playing this game, I will happily stream custom lobbies because there's nothing I want to do more than stare at an empty lobby and call it Menu Simulator. So if people are playing, I'm in. I'm in. I like the game. I've always liked the game. It needs more, but I'm here for it. However, if people aren't playing it, it's hard to, hard to stream it. That being said, Wednesday, unless I see some compelling races in ranked and PMR, I'm probably going to be doing Wednesday day stream is going to be LMU. I'll be chasing silver. I want to get to the hypercars. I don't really care about the GT3 racing in the game. But in the meantime, like I said, 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time tonight. Everybody, thank you for watching. Thank you for participating. Thank you for subscribing. And I will see you all in about 9 hours. Have a good one.